Help is on the way, dear.
Shut the Front Door, a podcast from Infinity Hydration and Wellness. Join us for holistic health and wellness talk designed to help you feel better emotionally, mentally, and physically. Time to dive in.
Welcome back to Shut the Front Door, where we talk about all the things chaotic, real life. We have an official YouTube channel now and Spotify, so like us, follow us, go listen to all the things. And today we have a special human, our new human to infinity, Dominique. She is our hormone peptide consultant, educator, specialist, guru. If you're a lady, you need to call her now. Tell us about yourself. What brought you here?
If you're a man, you need to call me too. Well, I mean, wait, that came out wrong. You know what I mean? Well, men have hormones too, is what I meant.
Yeah, she'll take you in the back room. Yep.
My God. We did not start this off very good.
So,
although I did embarrass one of the male patients when I said, come into my back.
He was red. He was super red. But you know what? He ended up
with a smile on his face.
But why, Dominique?
Sorry. Oh, I'm not starting this off very good. Okay. Anyway, what were you saying now?
All right. So,
in all seriousness,
we met, when I first opened Infinity.
I was going to say, is that when we met when I came in for an infusion?
You came in and you said, don't talk about the things you're doing because they will, in fact, come after you. And
I had you at that statement.
Yes. And I was like, oh, I could get along with her for life.
Yeah,
You spoke my language, chelation, ozone. And now fast forward 3 years later, here we are working on hormones together. But what got you to that point?
So without getting into the weeds, I always talk to my clients about my history first so they don't think that you guys just like pick me up off the street. But you kind of did. But I have so I went to college for occupational therapy. I had all the science classes. So I understand the workings of the body. I ran gyms in Baltimore, Maryland. I've owned my own gym, health and wellness center. I've done like online virtual fitness apps. And then my recent endeavor, I was a client relations manager for a compounding pharmacy in Texas. So I would help physicians and nurse practitioners in clinics like you guys. Well, not really like you guys because you're already there, but if I had a doctor that was insurance-based, Western medicine trained, and they wanted to make that leap into either adding cash-based services like you guys provide to their business, I would help them do that. And then I also represented our sterile compounding pharmacy, and then we had partnerships with 2 non-sterile compounding pharmacies. So I got to know our PIC, which just stands for pharmacist in charge. And I got to learn all the things about a compounding pharmacy. And I even went down and took a tour of it and saw it. And it was super interesting to learn, like to see all the hoods and see how they compounded everything and see how sterile everything was. And then learn, which we won't get into right now. But anyway, I learned the differences between all the pharmacies and how they worked. So then I moved on to getting certified in all things hormones, peptides, because I also educated the doctors and the nurse practitioners and the clinics on peptides. They knew nothing about peptides, but they wanted to. So that's the main reason I was brought on, the peptide factor. And we talked a little bit about IV solutions, but that really wasn't quite my thing. Then it brought me to you because you guys already do peptides. You already do all the things that I love so much. And you said your missing piece was hormones. So here I am. And I have a whole personal hormonal story, but I won't go into that right now.
I mean, even the day you came in and I said, all right, Corinne, we got to role play.
Oh, yeah.
Go in the back and role play.
Yeah.
Like, what am I
We do a lot of
role-playing?
things in our back room.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe getting extra likes after today.
So you two went together and I was like, all right, Corinne, go feel her out. see what relationship you guys can develop. And if you were a patient walking in off the street, where's it going to go from here? And Corinne came out and she's like, I need on this peptide. I need to, when I'm done breastfeeding, I am getting my hormones checked. And I was like, holy laundry list of all the things that then we've since like gone even a step further saying there's so many things interconnected. You have all of these women out there. What was that? I think we just talked about the study. Women between the ages of 35 and 45 are the highest risk of suicide. And because they're going to their PCPs and they're saying, hey, I'm super depressed, and they're being put on an antidepressant. Instead, what should they be doing?
So I like to use this house analogy. She's heard it a million times. But I like to use the house analogy because it really is a great explanation. So let's lay the foundation when we build a house first, right? What's your foundation? Nobody talks about this. Your foundation should be, what do I always say? What's your foundation when you lay the foundation?
Your hormones.
Hormones. And instead, we go right to the end of the cascade. And you got to go up the ladder. Okay, lay the foundation. Let's check your hormones. For a man, it really is just simply testosterone and free testosterone, maybe a little bit of the estradiol. For women, it's all three of their estrogens. It's progesterone, and yes, it's testosterone. Testosterone is so important for women, and nobody's talking about it. No, you're not going to grow hair. No, you're not going to get acne. No, you're not going to be like...
You won't grow a penis.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I said it.
Yeah, you won't. Yes. So women need testosterone just in much smaller amounts, right? So after we lay the foundation, then we got to start building the walls to the house. Now, once we have your hormones optimized by using the right kind and delivery method, then each wall is going to be something different. Let's look at your lifestyle. How is your nutrition? How is your movement? Let's look at your thyroid. That's a huge one that you and I were talking about. Let's look at what supplements you're taking. And then we can talk peptides. So when somebody comes into us, I know it happens to you guys all the time, like, I was watching Joe Rogan and he said that I should be taking BPC and epamorelin, and they have no clue what their thyroid is. They have no clue what their hormone levels are. They have no clue, nothing. It's just not an intelligent way, logical way to approach it. So we always start out with hormones. I forget what your question was. Just start rambling.
You and me both. But this is the first time I've heard the house analogy, so I'm just going with it.
You haven't heard it? Are you kidding? That's all I talk about is building my house.
But I haven't.
Literally, we're not in the same room.
She
So,
didn't get to role play.
she's the front of the house. I'm the back of the house.
and there was no role play. We didn't get to do that.
Right.
And then it started out, there was so many patients coming in that we were like,
Go to Dominique, Dominique.
like we need you
I
to
remember your question.
Oh, good.
It was, okay, I'm feeling depressed. I'm going to go into my PCP. They're going to immediately throw you on an antidepressant. You know better than anybody, being mental health and, going for a nurse practitioner, all that. There's a time and place for that. However, again, if we don't build our house first, that should be the roof. Like, oh, okay, pharmaceutical drugs are the roof. But let's build the house first. So, number one, all the hormones overlap, right? So women will say to me, well, what's testosterone for? What's estrogen for? What's progesterone for? They do each have distinctive things. Like progesterone is necessary for sleep. Testosterone's necessary for libido and mood and energy. So, but they all overlap. Estrogen takes care of some of that too. But every single time I've worked with a client, and I've worked with a lot of them in my career, and they tell me they're depressed, first, let's look at your testosterone. And every single time a female's testosterone has been in the tank.
And we just talked about this. We spent a good 40 minutes yapping away before we even started this today about the number of people on GLPs, women specifically, and GLPs drive down a woman's testosterone level. And then we were talking about your muscle mass along with it. So now more than ever, I feel like women need to be checking their hormone levels, because the number of women on GLPs, whether it's physician supervised or non-physician supervised, we've seen them all. And I guess what symptoms are women, so they know they're not crazy, are they looking for to say, hey, I need to check my hormones?
So my typical client that comes into me that becomes a patient of yours is they range from perimenopause to postmenopause. So you got perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause.
What age is that?
It's going to be different for everybody.
Okay.
However, the typical age is anywhere from 35 to 40 is the common age for perimenopause. Anywhere from like 40 to 50 is menopause. It's a wide range because it's different for everybody. And then 50 and beyond is usually like postmenopause. But it depends on like your genes too, right? Like heredity, and some families, they hit it really early. Other families, they keep having a menstrual cycle till they're like 55. It's a wide range. However, if I have a woman sitting in front of me and she says, I'm severely depressed, I do not want to get out of bed, I used to work out my whole life and I have no motivation to even start working out again, let alone go for a walk, I have zero libido, and I'm just going to say it because we have to start talking about this. I have so many women that are so upset because they have painful sex. And that is a huge one that we have to talk about. You lose the vaginal moisture. Now, Western medicine has come around a little bit. You might be able to get your OBGYN to give you some vaginal estrogen cream, which does help. However, studies have shown it's not going systemically. So I forget your question again.
Actually, now that you brought up the vaginal cream, somebody actually approached me yesterday and they were like, I'm already on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy because I get it through my OBGYN and I just do it vaginally. And I said, it's not the same thing. She's like, even though it's not systemic, it's still doing what it needs to do. And I said, no, ma'am. No, it's not at all.
It's a helpful adjunct.
Yes. And it's a start in the right direction of where we need to start educating people. And I really thought you were going to go to, what did your husband look like?
We'll let Corinne tell that story. When we were role-playing.
Oh, another role-play moment of
when... What question did you ask me when we were role-playing?
No, Lindsay.
That was Lindsay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When a patient calls in and says, I no longer want to have sex with my husband, what do you say?
Well, what's your husband look like?
Yeah. So here at Infinity, you must send us a picture of your husband.
Yeah. I think I need hormone replacement therapy or some peptides, and I'm always like, well, no. Let's just start with what your husband looks like. Hey, whatever. We can do that.
Are you still attracted to your husband?
Yeah, that's another podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, as funny as that is, in all seriousness, though, it does happen when you're married for a long time and you have all these kind of dynamics going on. And anyway, that's another podcast. But so when the PCP wants to throw you on an antidepressant, I'm not questioning a physician. I love physicians and nurse practitioners. Many are my friends. What I'm questioning and what I don't like is the system. And they're just victims of the system, right? They have to do what they're told by whomever they work for and the insurance companies. But let's get your hormones balanced first. And like I said, testosterone. And then another common symptom is I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't fall asleep. I can't stay asleep. That's classic progesterone, which, by the way, progesterone is the first to drop in perimenopause. Typically in perimenopause, all they need maybe is a little bit of progesterone and a little bit of testosterone, usually not estrogen. That usually doesn't happen until the menopause stage. And then, you have 3 different kinds of estrogens, which E1, E2, and E3, which we can go into if you want. But estrogen is when you start to lose the collagen and the skin elasticity and all the things beauty, It's like sad to watch that go, but that's where estrogen comes in with a little bit of mood and anxiety too, but I find that more testosterone. So a female's hormones, I always say to my clients, are like a symphony. They're so delicate and they work together so synergistically and delicately. And it's like tuning a radio dial. One little notch to the right, you lose your station. One little notch, you bring it in clear. that's how delicate they are. And it's not a one size fits all by any means.
Yeah, and that's what the part I think women want, some women, maybe not all, want to just feel better right now. And sometimes it takes that tuning. What did your thyroid look like when you were coming in? Were you a little bit insulin resistant? What's your vitamin D level look like? What is your stress level at baseline, and how are you managing your stress? Because, I mean, women at a baseline, I always use Corinne as an example because we've talked about this in a previous podcast. The mom who has a newborn baby is running around 2 other girls. The kids are in sports. You're working. Your husband's off at work, and you're expected to stay sane. So is it...
You're expected to stay sane. Oh, and by the way, you're expected to look beautiful, be in shape, eating properly, doing all the things, in addition to working and being a mom and a wife. Yeah, it's crazy.
Gotta be superwoman.
And how many people, Corinne, do you have when you have patients coming in and you're giving them like IVs or different treatments? How many men and women, because I've talked to a few men that have been in there, like how many are saying to you, like, I feel exhausted or I'm losing my muscle mass?
98% probably.
Really?
I have a ton.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then I'm always like, hold please, Dom's in the building. Yes. So let me go grab her.
Dom is in the building.
Oh, Lord.
We almost need a light to flick on.
No, but honestly, it's like almost every patient that comes in, and I'm just like, they'll tell me their symptoms, and like most of them are older than me, and I'm like, I'm doomed. Like, you guys need to help me when I get to that age because I need all the resources and the magic.
Yeah, we just had a gentleman come in who is almost 80 or in his 80s, and he's like, do not wait until you're my age to figure it out, because now I'm playing catch up. And I mean, speaking from a male where you don't have all of those other hormones like women have floating around, a man to say it, hey, I did something really bad. I waited until I was
Miserable.
70s, 80s, miserable to start this process. And now I'm going down the road and trying to get up my vitamin D level, trying to figure out what my testosterone level is. Don't wait. But we are so conditioned to believe you don't go to the doctor, you don't get help unless you're sick. So we wait to the point of we are so sick.
How many times have we heard when we've walked into the doctor as women, you're just going through the change? Well, you haven't heard it. Yeah, thank God. But
I'm not ready for it.
you'll get there, sister. But you're just going through the change, or it's normal. This is normal part of aging. And listen, I remember when. How old are you? Do you mind saying that?
32.
Okay, 32. I remember when I was 23, okay? And I was beside myself because I was diagnosed with PCOS. If you don't know what that is, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It just means that your hormones are messed up. I was diagnosed with that, and I always had issues with my menstrual cycle being irregular, and always had like thyroid issues and everything throughout my life, just undiagnosed, just left alone. And I remember the OBGYN saying to me, we're going to send you to a fertility specialist because you don't ovulate. Like, you are never going to have children. And I'm like, I don't know. Have you met me? Like, you don't tell me no. So I, even way back then, so, okay, I'm 51. This was like, 25 years ago. Even back then, I used to go to the local place. I won't. Am I allowed to say businesses' names on here? I won't. But anyway, there was a local. I didn't know how that.
I didn't know what local place you were referring to. There's like,
well, it didn't have a back room, but that's what you wonder.
I didn't know where it was going.
It was before this business grew. It was like this little hole in the wall, and I knew the owner, and I would get all my supplements there way before the internet. And, she would educate me, and I told her what was going on, and she was like, come here. Goes over to the shelf. Guess what it was? It was progesterone cream. Over the counter, a company made it. She was like, try this. No lie, hand on the Bible. I would rub it like a transdermal cream every night, started getting my menstrual cycle regularly.
How old were you?
I was like 23, 24.
Man.
Yeah, it was
and it was on the shelf, easily accessible.
Yeah, I just got it. Yep. It wasn't compounded specifically. She's like, you might have to play around with it, like to figure out what works for you. And that's when they were getting ready to put me on Clomid. And I remember calling the doctor that day to pick up my Clomid prescription. And I was like, did you call it into the pharmacy? And they were like, well, we don't have to because you're pregnant. I was like, it was Gabriella. But I was like, holy progesterone cream, back then. And here we are. She's like 20, I don't even know how old she is anymore, 24. But that was like 25, 26 years ago. And here we are just now talking about this, just now educating women. And I have been
Well, let's talk about why.
This.
I mean, the Women's Health Initiative.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you might as well. Go for it.
No, you go for it first.
No, you are a lot better at explaining it than I am.
So the Women's Health Initiative was a study done in was it the 70s? I can't remember, 70s through the 90s. It was a long study.
It
Do I
ended
have the
in
years
the 90s,
right?
I believe.
Okay. And they looked at a cross-section of women that was unfair. And if I may, I'm going to bring out my notes on this because I don't want to misquote, like,
I knew you had the notes.
Who they actually looked at. It says launched in the 90s. I don't think that's right though, because I remember ending then. But they looked at women with a uterus, ages 50 to 79. The average age was 63. They studied estrogen alone, and the estrogen they studied was the horse's urine. Remember that? Remember the horse's urine supplement? Premarin.
You know how many women are
So many.
They're still on that?
They
That's what they put my mom on first.
And then, do you know
Recently, in 2025.
Recently.
And do you know how many women
my
don't
God.
even know
They don't, yeah.
where it came from?
I
And
didn't
that
know
they're-
until like 2 weeks ago when you guys told me. I was like,
Yes.
what?
And I was like, there are all these breeding facilities across the United States, out of the country. Now, there's some underground ones that I've heard about in the United States where they keep horses pregnant and use mare's urine to create
I had no idea they were still prescribing that. That is crazy.
Somebody,
Crazy.
a veterinarian, asked me actually if we prescribe Premarin to women because she was asking for it. I'm like, why would...
See,
she doesn't know what it is.
yeah, they're not educated. They found that it increased breast cancer, coronary heart disease, stroke, overall harm versus benefit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is when they scared the bejesus out of all physicians everywhere. Okay, do not give a hormone replacement to women in menopause. So women continue to suffer. Okay, so since then, it has been debunked. It has not been retracted from JAMA or the New England Journal of Medicine, but it has been, what did I say earlier? They're saying, it was misapplied or overgeneralized. So that's the way they're, the powers that be, they're getting around it. But what has changed is that later reviews now say that WHI, Women's Health Initiative, should not be used to scare healthy 50 and 60-year-old women. This is what they're saying now. From appropriately prescribed menopausal hormone therapy. They were not using bioidentical hormones. They were not using all of them working synergistically together as a symphony. So that is absolutely a big deal because you can't compare a chemical to something that's bioidentically identical to a woman's body, right? So bioidentical means chemically identical to human hormones. So we have 3 estrogens, but I'm just going to point out estradiol because that's the main one. And then the progesterone is micronized. These can be FDA approved. There are, different forms of them that are FDA approved, but there's several studies here. And like I said, I won't get into the weeds, but 2023, 2024, I have different studies in front of me that have looked at estradiol and micronized progesterone, particularly the transdermal creams like we use. And they have not only found that they did not increase major cardiovascular or cancer events and occurrences, but dun, drum roll please,
Yippee-ki-yay.
it actually protects you cardiovascularly. So
Imagine
we went from it's going to give you a heart attack to, oh, I'm sorry, it's heart protective. Because they're not comparing apples to oranges. You can't compare a chemical or horse's urine to something that, yes, it's still compounded, but it's biologically identical to how the hormones occur in our bodies. So that's that. Any questions?
Oh, man.
I'm just sick of the misinformation out there, and everybody's talking. Turn off TikTok and do your research. It's not hard. But if you don't want to do your research, just listen to us. But anyway, yeah, what I have in front of me is stuff that I go over with the clients during the consultations, because my job for you is to be the health and wellness educator, so that when they get to the nurses and then the doctor, they can simply look at the lab results, know the symptoms from looking in our files, and prescribe. Because it takes me a long time to explain this. And I go into depth. Like, I'll spend an hour with people explaining stuff. You have to be your own advocate, and you have to know what you're putting into and on your body.
Teaching people to be their own advocate. I feel like that's been our mission for the past 3 years anyway, is
Absolutely.
all right, go back and ask your PCP for this lab, and this lab. And
When they tell you no, do even more research.
when they tell you no, here's the article, you're going to take them and say, this is why I need this lab. Yeah, it's,
Would you like me to explain the 3 different types of estrogen?
go for it.
Okay. So
In the back room.
I feel like I'm dominating this, but that's what happens when I come. No. Okay. I was going to say, that's what happens when you hire an
the
Italian.
This is why we call you the guru, though. Like, you know all the things.
Well, okay. So the main estrogen that you want to be concerned with from perimenopause through menopause and postmenopause is E2 or estradiol. That controls brain function, memory. We all have heard, like, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word, or I'm losing my memory. That's really scary when that happens. Brain function, memory, bone strength, skin elasticity, collagen, the vaginal issues, the dryness, stuff like that. In perimenopause, estradiol or E2 fluctuates. During menopause, it slams shut. It's like boom. And that happened to me because when I was in perimenopause and I had my numbers checked, my estrogen was like pretty good. It was okay. But man, I hit menopause like overnight. Like, no lie. It was overnight. It hit me like a year ago. And I felt like a different person. It's really scary when it happens.
Could you have, so for the women out there who are listening and they're like, I don't want that to happen to me overnight, meaning us too, we talk about this all the time. We're like,
You youngins.
yeah, what do we do to prevent that from happening overnight?
Well, you're not going to prevent it, but to be getting your labs done at least twice a year, if not every 3 months, when you're in perimenopause, when you're around like the 40 to 45-year-old mark, 40 to 50 would be a good idea. Progesterone will be the first to drop. That's the common one that you need a little bit of. And then testosterone, and then estrogen is usually the last. There are supplements that you can take, and I find that supplements help perimenopausal women because their numbers aren't that low. But when you enter menopause, like all my supplements stopped working. Like, I love maca powder, black cohosh. There's different ones that you can take, and that they do help during perimenopause. But yeah, but I mean,
So should we be taking maca powder?
well, you have to ask yourself, do you have any of these symptoms?
Okay.
You know, because you don't want to treat something that's not there either. Just because you're a certain age, you don't want to say, because I have friends that do that. Well, I turned 45, so I started taking, and I'm like, well, but why? If you're not having symptoms and you're fine.
And the misconception of even the symptoms, some of these symptoms mimic each other. We've even talked about, okay, you're starting on an estrogen replacement therapy. I just learned in my advanced patho class, it brought it around full circle, that estrogen that start on it increases your thyroid binding globulin, which in turn lowers your free T3, free T4. So you may have some brain fog, some moodiness, some thyroid symptoms along the way, but that's when we go back to you need to carefully turn that radio dial.
Or build the house.
Build the house.
And that's when they come to see an integrative clinic like yourself instead of a Western trained primary care physician. I was going to say PCP, just in case people don't know. But you are going to look at not only hormones, you're going to look at and not only thyroid. So when I go to my PCP, they're doing TSH, that's it. They're not doing T3, T4, and they're certainly not doing the conversion. That's what you're going to do. You guys are going to do D3 levels. What else did you say you
cholesterol
guys
levels.
do? Yeah.
Inadvertently, you could go in and your cholesterol levels could be through the roof. And
Take a statin. Take a statin. Here's a statin. You're going to lose all your muscular strength and hallucinate, but take a statin.
but it could be your hormones.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's when we sat down a while back and we're like, okay, what's our lab panel look like? And we're like, I don't think there's not a lab that we included in because they are all come around full circle between your thyroid, your insulin levels, your hormone levels, your vitamin D.
Tell them the thing about the insulin. I did not know this. It was super interesting.
Which one?
About men and their insulin.
Your insulin resistance. So I did that. I wrote a little paper on that a while back about men catching their low testosterone level. It starts out as insulin resistance. And if you catch that insulin resistance, then you can help their testosterone levels. So sometimes your PCP will only look at the A1C level instead of doing the calculation on your fasting insulin times, I think, your fasting glucose divided by like 405. It's like some homeostatic assessment for insulin. I know, on insulin. It's some fancy calculation that says, hey, are you trending to become insulin resistant?
Wow.
And let's catch that insulin resistance so then you can still have sex with your wife.
Yeah. Let's mansplain it. So.
Right. Like, what can we take away from you real quick so you get the picture?
Yeah.
Like,
So what you're saying is insulin resistance is a huge red flag that your testosterone is going to drop.
yes, in males.
In males.
In
yes.
females, it works actually the opposite way. However, all these females then that are going on GLPs, when their insulin levels then go down, it drops their testosterone at that point in time.
Right. Crazy.
We just work so much differently, but men are very easy to figure out.
Men are easy, yeah,
Wow.
but they're like happy quickly, yeah, they are. Wait, this is again not sounding good. Come in my back room. You'll get happy very quickly. I can't. Oh, fuck.
We need a sign for her room that says the back room.
The back room.
No, wives will be coming in with their husbands going, what is this back room I hear?
So then you can help them
That's
too.
true. That's a good thing,
and
actually.
you can see what the husband looks like.
Yeah, then I
Do we need to talk about it? Let's start at square one.
Funny.
Are you attracted to you? Are you? I mean, but back to the men, the men who come in and they're like, my wives are legit crazy.
Oh, yes. Did you know, like in the early 1900s, I'm not lying, men would commit their wives to a saint. I shouldn't laugh when I say this, but it is serious. Men would seriously commit their wives to insane asylums because they were just going through menopause. What the hell?
I mean, I think we've gotten a step better.
Woman. Yeah, not very much. I mean, now the poor husbands just accept it, and a lot of them do feel bad, in all seriousness. But the doctors just are not trained to help women, and women are suffering from like age 50 on. They're literally suffering in silence.
Well, the divorce rates.
Yeah. Oh, yep. It's been proven statistically menopause causes a lot of divorces. And that makes me so sad because it doesn't have to be.
So for the divorce therapists out there listening, you should
Send them to Dom.
Well, then they'd be out of business.
The back room.
Just come to my back room. But I want to get back to testosterone because since we started talking about it, a lot of men don't know this as well. And if you're a woman listening, please send this to your husband because it's an epidemic. So I recently had a client a couple months, well, no, it's been more than that, but a few months ago. he was like 23, mid-20s. This poor guy, his testosterone was like 200. And he was beside himself. He's like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why. So why do you think that is? I'm going to quiz you guys. Why do you think men's testosterone is under attack?
Dietary exposures to chemicals, insulin resistance that we already talked about.
Mm-hmm. What else? What do you think?
I was going to say your insulin. Mm-hmm.
How about endocrine disrupting chemicals not in food? The biggest thing that we don't talk about are plastics and EMFs. And I would love to just do a podcast on EMFs. We don't understand how the electromagnetic frequencies coming from Wi-Fi, cell phones, computers, etc., are killing us. They're killing us. And the plastics are endocrine disruptors.
Was it you or a patient
proven.
talking about shutting their Wi-Fi router off at night?
That would be
It was
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sometimes I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if you can do it, I know it's a pain because everything has to reboot in the morning, but if you can do it, do it. Do it. Because you should not be sleeping under that invisible blanket. And just because it's invisible, I mean, so are TV waves and radio waves. There's a lot of invisible things that we accept, but we won't accept that. Like, yeah. So anyway, pesticides, personal care products, sugar, the food packaging, flame retardants are big, like in clothing, nonstick pans, poor sleep, you have to do a podcast just on sleep. It's so important. But men today average 2 hours less sleep than men 100 years ago. Obesity and insulin resistance, which you guys talked about. Sedentary lifestyle, put down the video games. Alcohol, chronic stress, which, the stress is just so high on men. Like, in all fairness, we talk about how women are always like so stressed out, how we were just saying, like, you're expected to look good and stay in shape and be a mom. But I do have a heart for men too, because I think they're under extreme pressure to try to support a family against a system that's set up for them to not be able to do that anymore. And then their wife has to work, and then both people are under stress because their wife has to work. And
who's cooking the meals?
Exactly. Nobody. They're getting fast food because they're both forced to work just to pay a mortgage payment anymore. I mean, it's men have a lot of stress on them too. So we got to cut them a break for sure. Lower sun exposure, the vitamin D issue, poor nutrition. Our soil is soy is an estrogen. Yeah. Plus our soil is overfarmed. And it talks about EMFs. Yeah. So are you ready for this? This is crazy. Healthy male levels of testosterone by age. So if you're in your 20s, your testosterone as a man should really be 1,000 to 1,500.
So Trav's is low then.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Trav. Well, I mean,
Might want to edit that one.
Yeah.
no, he doesn't care.
So how's your
He's
sex
part of
life?
it.
Let's just go into it.
No, but I mean, like, they did
Yeah.
labs on him because he's like, I'm exhausted. And they're like, yeah, but you're still, I think he was like, I don't know, not super low, but I think he was like in the 500s. And so,
But
I mean,
symptomatic.
he's 32, but he's just like, I'm exhausted all the time. And they're like, well, we're not going to, they said they could do something, but he's like, I don't even know. Because, I mean, he wasn't taught any of this, and then nobody explained any of it to him. But he's just exhausted, and, like, so technically he's normal, but, not normal.
So let's talk about normal.
Normal versus optimal.
Yes.
Your optimal level and my optimal level are two different levels. You function at a really high testosterone level, don't you?
Of course I do.
She's got all the energy.
And that is where the bathroom comes in.
No problem there.
Yeah.
No, but I know it's semantics, but it's important. Is it normal or is it average? Let's not keep saying normal. And when people don't know this, when labs calculate what is the normal range, and then your physician gets it, and they're looking and they're like, oh yeah, there's only one red flag on here. You're normal everywhere else. Are you really? That is not normal. Normal and average are different.
Well, it depends which company they're sent out to.
Mm-hmm.
You could send them out to, I'm not going to put them all on the spot, but you could send them out to like a LabCorp facility, a Quest facility. There's multiple other ones. And their normal ranges are all going to be different because they're based upon the average
Of... They take a cross-section of their patients. So you mean to tell me, when I learned this, I was so mad. You mean to tell me you're comparing me to the dumpster fires in America? Of course, we're all going to look like rock stars. Have we looked at America? We are all exhausted, overweight. We're eating crap, on and on and on and on.
Dang it, that's normal.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
normal.
Yeah,
That's normal now. But no, it's average. If it was 100 years ago, it wasn't normal. So I encourage everybody listening to change how they talk. It's average, it's not normal. So what we do at Infinity and what integrative physicians do is they will take lab results with a grain of salt. They'll go, okay, yeah, I see the numbers, but you tend towards the lower end of average or normal. And you're telling me you have X, Y, and Z symptoms. I'm going to treat not only what I'm seeing in front of me on your lab work, but your symptoms. And we're going to start there. And we're going to use the homeopathic method, which is start low and go slow. We're going to fine tune as we go. I'm the health educator. I'm going to manage your expectations. You have to be patient with us because we're going to fine tune you. We're not going to slap a cookie cutter prescription on you. We're not going to start high. Those first couple of months are going to be crucial. And as you point out, you got to look at the thyroid.
4 weeks it takes for your thyroid to have an adjustment period when you're starting on an estrogen cream of saying, okay, body, get used to this. Don't just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and be done with it because that will be putting a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
And we want to fix you long term.
So let me tell you. So in their 30s, they should be like 700 to 1,000. This is men's testosterone levels. In their 40s,
on testosterone next week.
In their 40s, they should be like 600 to 900, 50s 500 to 800, 60s plus 400 to 700. I personally think these are low. These are conservative. I have a lot of men in my life, including my 89-year-old father who's on testosterone, and everybody's going to feel optimal at different levels. Again, you are uniquely you. Your genetics have a huge role in it. So let's start low. But if you are still feeling like no motivation, low mood, you're losing. The gentleman that was getting an IV the one day, and I went out and talked to him, like he was devastated. He was only, I think, like
45,
48
maybe?
or something like
yeah,
that.
Around, yeah, something
and
like
he was
that.
devastated. He's like, I'm exhausted. I am losing muscle mass. I have a physical job. I can't keep up. Like, this is, I was like, I would bet my first child on the fact, my first child's life on the fact that you're low on testosterone. And he recently got tested and, that's the one I looked over and he was low. He was really low. And so men are pretty easy to adjust. Now, there are precursors to some hormones. Like if a man is younger or if a woman's in premenopause, we might want to try to play around with like DHEA a little bit. And then that begs the question, are we going over on time? Because I could, oh, crap. Do you want to like...
No, you're good. Finish this up and then we'll close it up.
Because, you want to talk about the different delivery methods too. Can I just like go over that really fast?
Real quick.
Okay.
Elevator pitch.
So, all right. So you have oral, which is not ideal because it gets destroyed by the gut and has to pass through the liver. You have pellets, which you put in your butt, in your glute, and you'll spike, feel awesome, and then at the end of the cycle, they drop because they're not equally dispersed. And the transdermal cream is what we use. The only con is that it's patient responsibility. You have to remember to do it. But the pros far outweigh the cons. Like we can adjust it more easily, and it absorbs into your skin. It's systemic, and that's what we like to do. And so there you go.
And continuing to monitor your labs. I mean, every 3 months, rechecking your labs and even saying, okay, if you're still symptomatic and you're saying, hey, my hair is like crap, but you were only on estrogen progesterone cream. Okay, now this time around, let's see what happened to your testosterone level. Maybe your testosterone level took a tank. because maybe you started a GLP-1 and then it took a tank in this process and now you're losing your hair and you need to check your hormones. Again, every person completely different, but at Infinity, we're going to help you along the way. We're going to do what we can.
Infinity and beyond.
And we'll save our, what are your little things?
Oh, the different
space.
phases of the program.
Yeah. I don't even know now.
She will just keep laughing. So
No, we not.
The cosmic, the brownie, that's for another
Galaxy.
episode, but thank you for joining us on Shut the Front Door, and stay tuned because there will be more. Have a good night.